In this video, we're going to look at finishing out activity 1.3.3, constraining a sketch, by working through steps 30 through 35. In the previous video, we went ahead and constrained our sketch and extruded to a depth of 5 millimeters. We're actually going to go back and work inside of our sketch to be able to make some changes. As we do so, we're going to go ahead and go over to extrusion 1. If I select the plus sign, I can see extrusion 1 consume the sketch in either one of two ways. I can right click on the sketch to select edit sketch, or if I have it collapsed on extrusion 1, I can always right click and select edit sketch from there too. So here we're going to make a change for the base dimension to go from 100 millimeters to 125. So you can kind of predict what's going to happen is now that's going to make that base wider. And they say, what if we change that overall vertical dimension from 45 to 60? So if I change that to 60, you're going to see how that affects some of the other geometry. If I change it to 80, you're going to see it definitely affects a lot of the geometry here. We don't get very much of a line for our base component. I'm going to change this back to 45. Once we change that back to 45 millimeters, what they would like us to do is we want to have it where lines 5 and 7, which are these vertical lines up here, that when they get longer, they want everything else to stay the same. So the one thing that's going to happen that we end up doing to change that is I'm going to get rid of, by right clicking on this 15 millimeter measurement, I want to go ahead and delete that. And now if I change this from 45 to 100, you're going to notice this is what only these lines get longer as they kind of go from there. So some things that we may need to kind of take a look at is like, okay, well, we need one dimension still here, and look at kind of behaving this, look at how the sketch is going to behave. So we know that if I move this, that looks good. It's also dependent upon this little portion here too, though. So what we might do is let's throw a dimensional constraint on this line right here. Again, you don't want to be on a green dot. I want to be on this line. And maybe I change this to 25 millimeters. And that'll kind of give us a size there. I can also change it to a different value. Let's go to 35. 35 looks pretty good. I can go ahead and select Finish Sketch. And what you'll notice is that as soon as I finish the sketch, that sketch and extrusion updated with one another because they're tied together. And we can go ahead and see that that's going to be the final kind of component in this particular part. And if we make any other changes, we could go ahead and see that. So that's part of the design intent, is being able to take a look at, if I go back into the sketch, if I make a change, how does it change some of the other features? You can see if I change that base, you can see how it affects some of the other items. If I change this to 25, how does that kind of impact that? And so how does that kind of work? So I'm going to change this back to 125. And again, we can always go even to a smaller increment, maybe 30. Finish the sketch. And that'll go ahead and you can see that updating as well. So just depends on what you're working with and what your kind of design intent for a lot of your values are. You can make those changes and be able to quickly make some edits and have that be part of your design. This finishes out activity 1.3.3, constraining a sketch. Check out other videos to be able to see how to do some of these activities in Inventor and to be able to help you learn Autodesk Inventor for future projects.